So, in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you 12 ways that you can begin to set yourself up for that higher level leadership position. But also, I'm going to be doing it in the categories of both sprints and endurance training. So, day number one, first thing, and this is all within the sprint category, and then we're going to go into our endurance training. So, the first thing that you can do, and this is a quick burst, it's a very direct ask, it's scheduling a meeting with your boss to ask them, what is it going to take to get your next promotion? Now, if you already have a promotion plan planned out with your boss, then what that ask is going to be is what is it going to take for me to get promoted even sooner? Right? What is it going to take for me to get a double promotion? I don't know, whatever that might be for you that's like a little bit outside of the comfort zone, a little bit of a stretch, something different than what you've already asked your boss about before. And the good thing about if you stretch it out, if you make this bold direct ask of your boss, but then you're making it a little bit outside of the norm, then your boss can actually tell you an answer, a hypothetical. Well, you would need to get in front of the CEO. Okay, how can I get in front of the CEO in the next 3 to 6 months? Right now, you have an actual plan. Sprint number two is kind of intermingled in sprint number one, but I'm wondering if you have an actual development plan with your boss, right? So you take the what is it going to take? And then you put on paper. Now, this is something that you co-create with your boss, but you're not having your boss tell you what to do. So you're saying, here is what I've heard from you. Here is what I think it's going to take to get that promotion in half the time. Have I missed anything? Is this correct? Right? If you already have that development plan with your boss, you're going to go schedule a follow up conversation just to see if you're on track, right? It's all very clear, it's all very laid out. The reason that I call these sprints is because they're short, they're quick, and they're really powerful, right? When you're having those quarterly development conversations and you have the facts on the table about what it's going to take to get your promotion in half the time, guess what? You're going to keep your boss accountable to that, right? You're actually showing up and you're saying, "Hey, I'm ready. I'm doing the work. Am I on the right track?" Right? So, sprint number 3, you're going to schedule a meeting with somebody else at your organization. And if you are not currently at an organization, you're going to schedule a meeting with somebody that you actually want to work for. And in this meeting, you're going to tell them that you actually want to work for them. That's it. That's your sprint. Sprint number 3, tell somebody in a different group, not in your current organization, but in a different group or at a company, maybe an old person in your network and actually let them know that you want to work for them directly, right? I want to partner with you. I want to work with you. I want to build something with you. I want to create something with you. I want to make this happen. And then you can go back to sprint number 1 and number 2 and actually create that plan. What is it going to take for me to work for you? Right. And backtrack. So when you do that, it gets their wheels turning and it also shows them that you really value their leadership and their time and their energy and who they are as a leader. And you genuinely want to work with them. Sprint idea number 4. You are going to connect with recruiters. Now, if you're currently working at an organization and maybe you're not actively seeking a job externally, it's still a good idea to connect with different types of recruiters. You know what it's like. You know the climate. You know that people are getting laid off. You know that this is a great opportunity just to get in front of people and to see what is out there. The reason that I put connecting with recruiters, though, at in that short-term sprint category is because these are short, punchy conversations, right? What are you looking for? What are your skills? What do you bring to the table? Now, yes, it's an endurance race. You're keeping up these relationships, but in the short term, you're letting them know that you're interested, that you're thinking about what's next for yourself. Maybe you're actively seeking your next leadership role, you're available. So, connecting with recruiters, that is sprint number 4. Sprint number 5, you're going to return to any lost job opportunities and see how things are going, right? So, connecting with that hiring manager, letting that hiring manager or that recruiter know that you're still interested in working at that organization. That's it. It's a quick sprint. You're going back to those companies where you didn't get the job offer and you're letting them know that you're still available. This is huge. Most people just think, oh, they didn't like me. I'm never going to go back to them. If they had liked me or if they wanted to work with me, they would have brought me in for a different role. No. People forget about you. They don't care. Once you walk out the door, once they don't offer you the job, you're gone. You're out of sight, out of mind. So you're just going to reconnect with them, make sure that they know that you're still available to work for them. In sprint number 6, you are going to ask for second degree connection requests. So, going to those first degree connections, those people who love you, you already have trust with them, and you are going to ask as many of them as possible to introduce you to somebody that they like, somebody like them, some other important person. And then here is the most important part of this ask: even if they're not hiring, quote unquote, that you actually say those words, even if that person is not hiring. All right. Now, this is really important as a sprint because it's not a huge ask. You're not going back to that person, like rekindling old fires. You should already have that relationship built with them. But you're just saying, hey, is there anybody in your network that you can introduce me to? Right? Even if they're not hiring, I'm just trying to meet more leaders like you. All right. So you can do that whether you're internal at an organization looking for a promotion, just wanting to expand your network, or even if you're actively seeking a job. So many people, if they're actively seeking a job, they go to their first degree connections and they ask their first degree connections to help them find a job. That's not what we're saying. We're asking our first degree connections to introduce us to somebody who is like them. That is different, to introduce us to a second degree connection. Now we are into the endurance portion of the 12 days of Christmas. Da, 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 da. Okay, if you haven't guessed already, the endurance potion starts out with 15-minute ally meetings. This is the game changer for so many women, getting them to better expand their network and getting other people to work on their behalf. But it's an endurance race, right? If we're building connections and really truly building allyship with executive leaders, we don't know if they're going to have an opportunity for us now or 5 years from now, right? It's a long run, it's a long race. And we're not having conversations with them about getting a job, right? So all of the getting a job conversations happen as sprints, right? And we can go back to some of our allies and things like that and do like that quick ask. But when we're talking about that endurance training, what we're looking at is scheduling 15-minute ally meetings where mostly we're going to talk about them, not about us, but about them and what they're working on, what keeps them up at night. We're going to be listening to the things, the way that they problem solve, the things that they are concerned about. We're going to maybe offer a little bit of advice, but we're not making a big ask. This isn't a mentorship. This isn't a teaching conversation. This is just a way to connect with executive leaders in 15 minutes or less. All right. So, the first person, now in terms of this endurance training, I'm going to give you three different people that you can begin to schedule these 15-minute ally meetings with immediately, right? Your boss's boss. Okay, we all know that your boss cannot be the sole person responsible for your next promotion. Now, why do we know this? Because our boss tells us this, right? Like, just wait. It should be coming up soon. Don't worry. It's just, it'll happen soon. And really, if their boss was on board with you getting a promotion or even getting hired, like, imagine if the hiring manager's boss was on board with you getting hired, think how much faster you would get hired, right? So you're going to schedule 15-minute ally conversations with your boss's boss. The other person that you're going to schedule 15-minute ally meetings with is other key executives. So any other executive. So it has to be sort of at your boss's level, right? So higher level executives, building relationships, even with like the CEO. I recommend scheduling 15-minute ally meetings with the CEO. And the third person that you're going to schedule a 15-minute ally meeting with is somebody important outside of your organization, right? It could be somebody that you don't know yet. It could be somebody that you saw give a keynote. It could be an author. It could be the CEO of a nonprofit organization. Anybody that you just want to connect with and build a relationship with. Again, these are long endurance relationships, meaning they're quick 10 to 15-minute calls, but you're going to have more than one, right? Think of it as like you're going to have one call now, you're going to have one call in 3 to 4 months, you're going to have another call with them in 3 to 4 months, right? You're in it for the long run, and you are here to build very deep and meaningful relationships with all different types of executive leaders so that you can begin to reap the benefits of their leadership, right? And also begin to surround yourself with those types of people and you start to sound like them. It's amazing how quickly that works, right? So, those are the first three things on the endurance side. The next thing you're going to do now, I'm going to LinkedIn here and I'm going to think a little bit about what you can do on LinkedIn, and this is something that is really easy for people to do, even if they work internally at an organization. A lot of people think the only way they can connect on LinkedIn is to, do connection requests, of course, but also to post themselves. And very rarely do I recommend posting yourself. I mean, you certainly can if you want to. But one of the traps that people fall into is if they do a ton of posting, but they currently work at an organization, and let's say you've never been posting before, but now all of a sudden you are, it's going to start to look like you're starting your own consulting business, right? Or you want something out of these posts. But what if you just start commenting on other people's posts or on organizations' posts, right? I just want you to think about it like that endurance race. It's the marathon. You're in it for the long haul. Once per week, nothing more than once per week. You're going to go online, see who pops up in your field, and comment on a few different posts. That's it. It could even be somebody like my post, right? It doesn't have to be another executive leader. Anything that you want to do to just comment, to stay engaged, so that your profile starts to rise above the noise. That's it. In it for the long run, simple comments, but as you're commenting, guess what? Your profile is going to rise above the noise, as I said, and a recruiter might see it, or a hiring manager might see it, or an old person in your network is going to see it, and they're going to see what you've been up to, and that whatever you're saying is going to matter. And it's also reciprocal. Like if you're commenting on somebody's post, they're going to remember you, right? So there's so much good karma that comes out of this, and there's very little downside and very little risk. The fifth thing that you can start to do for that endurance training is update your about section on LinkedIn. This isn't like a set bio or anything. You don't have to keep it perfect. So start to play around with your language, experiment with how you're talking about the work that you've done and your wins and things like that. Just all kinds of fun stuff that you can put out there in your about section. Be authentically powerful. You are an amazing corporate badass woman, and I want you to put that into your about section and have fun with it. And the 12th day of Christmas, the big giant bow, the icing on the top, the biggest, best thing that you can ever do for your marathon training, for your long term positioning, is to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry. I am telling you right now, there are opportunities for you to speak on panels. There are opportunities for you to run a booth for your company. There are opportunities for you to present larger opportunities to present in front of executives. There are opportunities to write a single slide, right? There are opportunities, even in your 15-minute ally meetings, to just share something about your perspective, right? Whatever that might be, there is an opportunity out there. I guarantee you, if you just open your eyes and you look for it, right? So think about your industry, think about your leadership, think about what matters to you, and look for opportunities to share that, to have that voice. to begin in. Oh, another way that a lot of my clients are doing this is as mentors, right? Giving back to somebody, anything that you can begin to do. And, if you really want to write a book or start a podcast, like all of that is available to you. But for right now, just start to look for those opportunities and say yes. When you become a thought leader in your industry, you become so much more valuable. And guess what? You continuously get people coming up to you and offering promotion opportunities, leadership roles, opportunities to speak at other events. You feel more confident and you are better able to articulate what your value is and the value that you bring to organizations when you go on to these job interviews.